Call of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Call of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Call of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua HaMashiach. All praises, glory, honor to Yahweh in the name of his son Yahushua. Call of Yahweh to the Most High. All praises to the Most High Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Fisherman of Zion back with another video through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, giving all glory and honor to the Most High Yahweh, as the world understands as God, in the name of his son Yahushua, who the world eagerly calls Jesus the Christ. Trying to get this set up real quick. Peace and blessings to each and every one. All praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Fisherman of Zion back with another video. Don't count this as a light thing to do. All praises to Yahweh in the name of his son Yahushua. Call Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Peace and blessings to you, Lord willing, you enduring, striving to forsake the flesh and the cares of this world to the best of your ability in these last days. To those that were, Lord willing, tune in to the video through the spirit, the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And I believe I titled this Prophecy. Underground bunkers. You heathen can't hide from the Lord. So that's what it's titled, through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But let me check this real quick before we get started. So we're going to open up with a quick precept through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This book is Psalms chapter 122. Opening up with a quick precept. Psalms chapter 122, starting at verse 1, and it reads, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord Yahweh. So through the spirit, we are glad to be in the land of living with the spirit of the Most High, that we are able to continue to strive and to continue to have faith, believing and hoping in the Lord in these last days, especially with all hell breaking loose, everything that's going on and on the earth. Many prophecies are unfolding. Many judgments are being brought to the earth. So we got to continue to strive to be in the spirit. We got to continue to strive to have faith. We got to continue to strive to have hope. We got to continue to strive to love. We got to continue to strive to make our calling and election sure. Let me read this one more time before we start the lesson. Psalms 122 and verse 1, and it reads, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord Yahweh. So we glad that the Lord has continued to bestow grace and mercy upon us in these last days. So like the title says, it says prophecy, underground bunkers. You heathen can't hide from the Lord. So through the spirit, shalom, shalom, peace and blessings, shalom. So through the spirit, the Most High, he has prophecy on the earth being pushed, regardless of who it is speaking prophecy. He's going to make sure his word, because he's the Most High, he's going to make sure his word, is true, So I'm going to get this in the Apocrypha. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 1. Shalom, shalom. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people. Who's the Lord's people? The Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Those are the ones that the Most High has chosen. So he said, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord. So prophecy is something that the Most High has issued out in these last days, regardless if it's from this congregation or regardless if it's from a different congregation. The Lord, he's allowing things to come to pass that he spoke of old. That's nothing new, So I'm going to keep reading down. And 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha. And like we always like to encourage, if you don't have an Apocrypha, try your best to get you one. 1611, King James. And I also have another one. This is the, where's it at? This is the 1611 King James. Has the Apocrypha in it as well. So, let's see. If you can get you one, it's very, very wise to get. So it says 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1 one more time. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So when the Lord say it's true, you know it's gonna come to pass. And he said it was faithful. So it's not gonna be like it's something that was said that's not gonna come to pass. It's not like some and we're gonna get another precept in 2 Peter. It's not like it's of man's words. Things that were spoken that the Most High said he was going to do, it's going to issue out and it's going to come to pass. So it says 2 Edges 15:2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So let me get this in 2 Peter real quick. Matter of fact, before I get there, I want to get this in Hosea. Because the prophets, they didn't come just to do their own will. They came to speak according to the things that the Most High was going to do before anything was going to be done, according to his wonders and his might and his powers. So this is Hosea chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse 10. The book of Hosea chapter 12 and verse 10, and it reads, it says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So if you're trying to figure out why things seem like they're taking, seem like they're taking too long to come to pass, well, the Most High, he moves according to his time. He doesn't move according to man time. It's many things that the prophets have prophesied that hasn't even came to pass yet. Just like for one, this lesson we're doing, speaking on underground bunkers, and then you got missiles that are prophesied to be issued out. You got famine that is prophesied to happen on the earth, the word being taken away, as well as food being taken away. A lot of people dying on a higher rapid rate. That's prophesied in the Bible. You got many things that's prophesied in the Bible that was said of old by holy men that the Most High God used to speak his words. So he says one more time, Hosea 12:10, it says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes, meaning he spoke things that you read that you may not be able to see on a plain scale. It's written in codes, it's written in things that you don't really hear on today's terms, similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So the Lord has spoken about things that we're seeing today that was already spoken of old. Now I want to get 2 Peter real quick. This is 2 Peter chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 21. 2 Peter chapter 1, starting at verse 21, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 20. It says, 2 Peter 1 and 21. I'm going to start at verse 20. Know this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. Meaning this wasn't by man's will. This is by the will of the Most High, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shah. For the prophecy, 2 Peter 1 and 21. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of Most High God spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. So the Most High has allowed his things to be shown, and he showed them to John the Divine. He's shown them to Isaiah. He's shown them to Jeremiah. He has shown some things to Daniel. He has shown some things to Ezra. Shown some things to Moses. So these prophecies that we're reading about and that we're going to see, Lord willing, if you're still alive, or whatever the Lord has appointed for your life and your lot, he's going to allow things to be shown, and you're going to be able to see his wonders and his might. Now, I want to get this real quick. This is Revelation. I want to get this in Revelation chapter 19. This is the book of Revelation chapter 19, and I'm going to start at verse 10, and it reads, and I fell at his feet to worship him. It's talking about John. John saying he fell at the feet of the angel. And I fell at the feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shah. Worship Most High God, for the testimony of Yahweh Shah is the spirit of prophecy. So meaning, the Lord, he spoke on things that was going to happen You know, when the Messiah, when he was walking the earth, you know, it's a lot of things that the apostles didn't understand that he understood that wasn't even time to come to pass yet. You know, just like being led into captivity. You know, he spoke about it in Saint John. He spoke about it in Matthew 26. So it's things that the Messiah himself, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, even spoke about when he was walking the earth and he was around the apostles. Now I want to get another one. This is in Sirach. This is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 24, and I'm gonna start at verse 33, and it reads. Sirach 24 and 33, and it reads, I will yet pour out doctrine as prophecy and leave it to all ages forever. So the Most High has given us the understanding to understand what he's going to do in these last days, you know, and what we need to be reading and studying and applying to our day-to-day lives, and understanding that, you know, these are the last days. You know, we don't have a lot of time, you know, before the Most High continue to allow these prophecies to come to pass back to back to back, you know. So I want to read this real quick. Now this is Revelation chapter 6. Let's go to Revelation chapter 6, because you read about things like this, and a lot of people may think underground bunkers is something that was just man-made, but you know, the Most High had set his will up, you know, from the beginning of time. Now this is Revelation chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse 15, and it reads, Revelation chapter 6 and verse 15, it says, and the kings of the earth and the great men. I'm gonna start at verse 14. The book of Revelation chapter 6 and verse 14, and it reads, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. What is this talking about? This is talking about your modern term for a nuclear missile. Nuclear missiles are prophesied in the Bible as well. And people are going to be trying to escape and get away from things like this due to war being on the earth, due to missiles being dropped, due to war going on. And like the Lord said in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7, you shall hear of rumors of wars. You know, you shall hear of wars. Hey, you even hearing of wars right now. You know, you got Pakistan dealing with stuff with Iran, you know, Iran dealing with many war, you know, war tactics, you know, and acts of war, you know. So you got many acts of war going on right now. So missiles are prophesied in the Bible. Underground bunkers are prophesied in the Bible. And many things that you may read about that you may skip over, you know, it's literally your day-to-day life, global world news, you know. So let me get this real quick. Isaiah 34. You know, because people are going to try to flee and get away from being destroyed by a nuclear bomb by going underground. You even got underground. You only not have underground bunkers, but you also have underwater shelters as well. You know, you got not just the submarines, but they even have cities that are underwater. You know, you can look that up. That's a real thing. So this is Isaiah chapter 34. And I'm going to start at verse 4, and it reads, Isaiah 34 and 4. And it says, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So when you see an image or some type of picture, or even if you was to watch a movie of a nuclear war or some type of apocalyptic movie, normally when a bomb drop, you know, it's going to be almost like a scroll, you know, like a mushroom cloud that's going to appear after the effects and the fuel and the flames and the smoke is being released from those nuclear missiles. So that's why the Bible is describing it as a scroll. You know, most modern terms, most people would say it's a mushroom cloud. Isaiah 34:4 again. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. So the Lord prophesied about these things that are going to happen. You know, these missiles going to drop, you know, and sometimes it's even described as a star, you know. Sometimes it's described as, what's the word I'm looking for? It has different terms that you may read about in the Bible, you know, a scroll being parted, you know, and things like that. So let's go back to Revelation chapter 6. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 14 one more time. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. I want to get one more, maybe two more precepts. Let's get this in Isaiah 13, touching on the missiles. Probably get Isaiah 51 as well. Now this is Isaiah chapter 13, and I want to start at verse 17. Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 17, and it reads, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not spare children. So that's another way of understanding, you know, an ancient name that is describing a missile, a bow as well. Isaiah 13 and 19. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when Most High God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And we know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. It was burnt up, you know. So a lot of times also, you know, this side of the earth, if you maybe in North America, you know, the United States and things like that, you know, this is prophesied. This part of the world is prophesied to be destroyed by nuclear missiles, you know, the fire. Verse 20, Isaiah 13 and 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. So it's speaking on what chiefly where the Israelites are captive at, they are oppressed at, you know, in these places that are inhabited in North America. You know, like Isaiah said, it's like not Isaiah, but roughly paraphrase it, said, we're going to be delivered from the north, you know, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now I want to get Jeremiah chapter 51, because missiles are prophesied in the Bible. And before, you know, you have these elites going into their bunkers, it's going to be missiles that are going to be sent from you know, this country, you know, to another country to destroy that. You know, it's all by the will of the Most High God. But you got these other kings that are doing acts of war as well to destroy and to get rich and to you know, bring down the population and all of these tactics that come into play when it comes to war being done. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 51, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. Jeremiah 51 and 1, and it reads, it says, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I'm gonna jump down to verse 10, and it says, the Lord had, Jeremiah 51 and 10, the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord Yahweh, our Most High God. Make bright the arrows. So that's another word that's known for a missile, you know. And these are ancient terms. These aren't modern terms. Now we say intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM missile. You know, now we're saying nuclear bombs and things like that, but in the ancient days, it was known as a bow, as an arrow, you know, as a star, you know, many things like that. That's what the prophets, that's what they saw when the Most High gave them the sense to understand his prophecies. Jeremiah 51:11, one more time. It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh had to raise up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. So the Lord, you know, he had this set up from the beginning of time, you know, because for one, you know, you have many things that are being done on the left hand side. You got things that's being done on the right hand side. Now you do have angels that will go about to play out many things that will be done on behalf of these missiles being dropped as well, and fire being issued out. Now, I want to get this precept real quick in the Apocrypha. Want to get this precept real quick. Now this is Sirach. This is Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 39, and I'm gonna start at verse 27. Sirach 39 and 27 in the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus 39 and 27. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. Verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force, and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. So what you're going to have when these nuclear missiles are being launched off is going to be fire, you know. And so what else are you going to have? You're going to have death on a higher scale than before. So that's why you're going to have certain elites and certain great men trying to escape that and go in their underground bunkers or go in their underwater cities. You know, you even have some that may try to go out of space, you know, which we know the firmament is set. Nobody can go past that, you know. So going back, I'm gonna get one more precept, because World War III is not only for, because for one, everybody's not going to die during World War III, you know, for one, and that's a lesson in itself, you know. And then you also have the heathen, you know, which are anybody that's not of the chosen, of the covenant that the Most High has made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you know, which I'm gonna get a precept on that real quick. But you also have World War III set up for a cleansing of evildoers to be wiped off the earth as well. So I want to get this real quick in Psalms. It's the book of Psalms. Matter of fact, I want to get this in Sirach. Go back to the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, and I'm gonna get this in verse 6. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 6, and it reads, for the Most High hated sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Which is, you know, a lot of people like to say the day of doom, you know, doomsday and things like that. You know, so even those that don't want to seek the Most High, they will be destroyed. Because like the Lord said in 2 Chronicles 15, you know, all they that seek not the Lord will be destroyed. You know, and you also have, let me get this precept right quick. Let me see if I can find this real fast. King David prophesied about it as well. This is, let me see if I can find this. This is Psalms. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 11, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. The book of Psalms, chapter 11 and verse 5, and it reads, "The Lord Yahweh tried the righteous." So you're trying to figure out why you going through so much, even when you're striving to keep God's commandments, even when you're striving to have faith, even when you're trying your best to do good. Because the Lord not only tries the wicked, he's going to try the righteous too. That's what the Lord prophesied through David. Psalms 11:5. It says, the Lord Yahweh tried the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hated. So who hates more violence and more wickedness more than the Edomites? You know, the Edomites are our chief enemies, you know. So it says, the Lord tried the righteous, Psalms 11:5. The Lord tried the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hated. Verse 6 of Psalms 11:6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and in a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. So the portion of the sinner's cup is going to be missiles, you know, the lake of fire, you know. And a lot of this is going to be the judgment according to the heathen. Now, I want to get this real quick in Psalms chapter 110, because like the title says, it says, prophecy, underground bunkers. You heathen can't hide from the Lord. So the heathen are chiefly those that aren't Israelites, you know, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which we can't understand and tell that based on skin color. It goes based on your bloodline. It goes based on your lineage. You know, it's about your nationality, the seed line of your father, you know. So this is Psalms 110 and verse 5, and it reads, the Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. So when you look up this word, the heathen, you know, it's Strong's H1 1471. You know, and it says usually non-Hebrew people. You know, so it says Psalms 110:6. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with their dead bodies. He shall wound their heads over many countries. So the Lord is going to, you know, destroy a lot of these wicked Romans, a lot of these wicked Greeks, you know, a lot of these Edomites, Amalekites, Girgazites, Jebusites, you know, Amalekites, you know, and Edom, you know, being our chief enemies. You can read it in Psalms 83. Let me get this real quick. So what is a heathen? Who's a heathen? A heathen is somebody that's not, you know, an Israelite, just to understand it in a simple sense. Now, this is Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1, and it reads, Psalms 83 and 1, it says, keep not thou silence, O Most High God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. So we have enemies, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as well as the Most High. You know, in his word, it explains who the Israelites' enemies are, as well as who the Most High God's enemies are. And it tells you right here in verse 6. It says, I'm going to start at verse 5. Psalms 83 and 5. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent that they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom. Who is Edom? Those are who you know as your modern day Caucasians, you know, who a lot of people call Europeans, Romans, white, you know, who people like to call white people, you know, that's who Edom is, which is those are known as heathens as well. And the Ishmaelites, which is your, you know, your Arabs, you know, of Moab, Chinese, of the Hagarenes, another tribe of Ham, Canaanites, Gabal, which is another tribe of the Canaanites, and Ammon, you know, which is another heathen nation, which is Japanese, and Amalek, which is another nation, another tribe of the Caucasians as well. You know, the Philistines, which is another Hamitic nation, with the inhabitants of Tyre, you know, which is another Canaanite Hamitic nation as well. So these are heathens. So a lot of times, like the title said, you know, prophecy, underground bunkers, you heathen can't hide from the Lord. You know, so you have elites that are known as heathens. And so let's go back to Revelation. Revelation chapter 6. So, you got your Jeff Bezos, you got your Bill Gates, you got all of those which they are known as heathens. So Revelation chapter 6 and verse 15 again. And it says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So that great day, as it already says in the title, in the heading, the sixth seal open. So around that time it's going to be missiles launching, and World War III, getting to its peak, right during the time of the return of our Lord and Savior, Christ, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, the Messiah. And so during this time, you're going to have people which are elites, those who are at the upper echelon running this society. They're going to be, hiding during this time. They're going to be in your underground bunkers. They're going to be in your underwater cities and trying to hide from all hell being broken loose and destruction. With your great men, as it says in Revelation 6 and 15, those are your elites. As well as it says the rich men, those are your billionaires and trillionaires, those who are the main ones polluting the earth, rape, robbing, and murdering the earth. Those who are, trying to bring the population down, trying to kill a lot of people, and your chief captains, as it says in Revelation 6 and 15, those are your generals in the army, that represents this, what it's talking about. And your mighty men, those are your soldiers, so you're going to have military soldiers down there as well, trying to protect, these wicked, nasty elites, those that represents the Illuminati that the world likes to call, and then you got your bondmen. These are the low-level people known as your doomsday preppers, because you got a lot of millionaires that prep for doomsday as well, and for the apocalyptic acts to kick off, especially when you see these movies like the Book of Eli, and you see these what's another movie called, like your Purge movies and things like that. You have millionaires or people that may have came into some money. They may have bought certain underground bunkers as well. So it says, reading it one more time, Revelation 6 and 17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So even when you look up, I got this video right quick that I want to show.
$4.5 million. If you were to convert that to today's dollars, it's over 30 million bucks. Look at that massive door right there. Let's get it opened. That's a big one. Now this is it's about an 8-inch thick blast door, and this is 3 inches of solid steel. 3 inches thick right there. Of course, it's structurally reinforced, but there's nothing that can shoot through 3 inches of steel. Wow, boy, they just don't make them like that anymore. That's one hell of a door, isn't it? Well, they don't make things like they used to, do they? So I am with the current owner of the bunker right now. He's going to give us a tour. But yeah, if a person thought the world was going to end and they had to go underground because a meteor is going to hit the earth, this is how you would live. So I'm going to give you guys a thorough tour of this bunker that you can actually buy.
Now he said,
have it for yourself.
Now he said, of course, they're not gonna put everything out there. A lot of these Edomites, they know what's going on. Especially somebody that spent $50 million on a bunker. They like to say a meteor is gonna hit the earth, but a lot of them know, about a lot of the stuff that we prophesy and teach. It's not a meteor, it's a missile. Jeremiah 51, 2 Peter 3 and 10. Let me get this real quick. It's not a meteor, Let's let me get this in 2 Peter, and then we're going to get back to this video. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 10. 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10, and it reads, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?" You know, looking for, in verse 12, 2 Peter 3 and 12, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of Most High God. So they know the Lord is coming back. You know, a lot of these illuministic ones, they know, you know, a lot of these elites, billionaires, they know what's going on. Wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So, hey, the missus is coming. There ain't no meteor, you know. The missus is coming. So let's get back to this.
So where do you want to start?
Oh, we can start this way.
Okay.
Let's do a little loop around. It's kind of a workshop.
Oh, yeah.
Where we do some glass blowing here.
Now, you've been the owner of this bunker for, what, 6-7 years? And when you purchased it, it was in pretty good shape, like I see it now?
Yeah, no, it was in pretty good shape.
What is this, glass blowing, or what is that?
Yeah, these are glass blowing legs.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You do glass.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I've never seen anybody that did that on their own. What, you make it like little bottles there or something?
Yeah.
That's,
Like that?
it's amazing. Well, I guess there won't be much glass making for a while if we end up in Armageddon, will there?
So if we end up in Armageddon, see that?
Yeah, these are kind of just left for blood.
So if we end up in Armageddon,
So the blowers probably still work. The filtration system.
now, mind you, this bunker is $50 million. $50 million.
The blowers.
So this is the filtration system actually behind you. This whole wall is actually
Yeah.
filters here.
Well, these, the way they're laid out, these will actually collect CO2 as well. Those are called blankets, and they will collect the CO2 and actually filter it through the air. This is, yeah, these are some of your induction fans. But yeah, the filtering system in here needs an overhaul, but that's not that big of a deal, and that is expected on a bunker that's 60 years old.
Yeah, that's been all decommissioned. The same thing with all these. They've all been.
Now, mind you, a lot of these, they have filter systems. If you never, there's a movie, I believe it's called 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's like a apocalyptic movie too, you know, and it shows in that movie how, because a lot of these Hollywood producers, they know about these end time things that's going to be going on too, and these underground bunkers. So in that movie, it shows how the filtration system, you know, because when you're so far down in the ground, of course you have to have oxygen to being able to breathe and things like that. So they have like a filtration system going on, you know, to help them deal with the oxygen, because they don't know how long they're gonna be down there. You know, it could be for a month, it could be for a year, you know. So that's another thing that they have in these bunkers as well.
Yeah, they probably still work, though, is the thing. Oh, I would say so. Yeah, the way they made things back then, they were made to last. Yeah, I would leave them right where they're at. But you got some old paperwork there? Okay, that's the diagram. Oh, yeah. Leave it right where it's at. We may need it. Guys, I hope you're enjoying today's video. Hey, don't forget, I have a special on this $20,000 precast concrete bomb shelter that includes an Israeli NBC air filtration system. Get your order in today. Okay.
So now we ain't gonna look at all of this, but it's a little bit more that I wanted to look at. But this is you can look at this on let me see, what's this? This is AtlasSurvivorShelters.com, but we're gonna look at a couple more. real quick. I want to touch on it a little bit more in here.
So this is hot water heater, really nice one. All your sewage goes here to your macerating, majorly large macerating pump grinder.
And that still works.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing.
Grinds it up, shoots it out. You got an aqua sauna.
Now, we put grinder pumps in my modern bunkers, but they're not that big. That is an industrial size grinder pump right there. So the washer and dryer work, huh?
Yeah.
Now, does the shelter has its own water well as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Yep. So you guys are running free water. That's all aqua sauna filtration, nice filtration system there.
And everything's working fine. Now, how long have you lived in here at any point?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been living here for the last 3 years.
Oh, have you really?
Oh yeah.
Full time?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The last 6 months I haven't been here so much, but yeah, the last 3 years I've been here.
Okay, all right. So bathroom.
Everything grinds up and shoots out there. It doesn't go down, it actually goes up the toilet.
Okay. Got some neon lights.
So yeah, you can watch this on your own. You know, that's actually a billionaire that's giving a tour in that bunker. But I want to get this preset real quick and Job. You know, because they think they're gonna escape. They think they're gonna hide. They think they're gonna be able to have themselves a good old time while nuclear destruction is going on the earth. But they in for a rude awakening. But a lot of them, you know, they think they're gonna be able to escape their judgment. You know, so this is Job chapter 20, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. Job chapter 20, starting at verse 5, and it reads that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? You know, so the Most High got them in a place where they're not going to be able to prevail. Now I want to get another. This is Psalm chapter 73. The book of Psalms chapter 73, and I'm going to start at verse 18. Psalms chapter 73 and verse 18, and it reads, surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castedest them down unto destruction. How are they brought into desolation, as in a moment they are utterly consumed with terrors, as a dream when one awaketh. So, O Lord, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. So, the Lord hasn't forgotten all the things that these Edomites has done. Now, I want to go back to the beginning. I want to go back to the beginning a little bit.
You would never know there's a giant bomb shelter underneath me, would you? So let me give you guys a tour of your new end of the world doomsday bunker. So the first thing you do is you go down 3 flights of stairs, okay? And you're 20 something feet below the grade here. Now, this bunker...
Now he says 20 something feet below. You know, this is insane. You know.
Bomb shelter underneath me, would you?
Let me rewind this back one more time.
You would never know there's a giant bomb shelter underneath me, would you? So let me give you guys a tour of your new end of the world doomsday bunker. So the first thing you do is you go down 3 flights of stairs, okay? And you're 20 something feet below the grade here. Now, this bunker, when it was built in the 60s, was $4.5 million. If you were to convert that to today's dollars, it's over 30 million bucks. Look at that massive door right there. Let's get it opened. That's a big one. Now, this is it's about an 8-inch thick blast door, and this is 3 inches of solid steel. 3 inches thick right there. Of course, it's structurally reinforced.
See that?
But there's no.
So hey, they not gonna be able to escape. You know, they spending all that money doing all of that, and it's gonna come for naught. You know. Now I want to get this in Psalms real quick. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 74, and I'm gonna start at verse 18, and it reads, Psalms chapter 74 and verse 18. It says, "Remember this, that the enemy had reproach, O Lord Yahweh, and that the foolish people have blasphemed thy name." So they got a hit out on them. You know, they got a hit out on them. You know, they not going to be able to escape. I'm going to go down to verse 19. It says, "O deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor forever." It says, "Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of inhabitants of cruelty. O let not the oppressed return ashamed. Let the poor and needy praise thy name." It says, "Arise, O Most High God, plead thy own cause. Remember how the foolish man reproacheth thee daily. Forget not the voice of thy enemies. The tumult of those that rise up against thee, increase it continually." So, hey, our forefathers was praying and pleading that the Most High doesn't forget, you know, about many of the abominable and wicked things that these heathens have done, you know. Now, I want to get Amos real quick. Now, this is Amos chapter 9. It's the book of Amos chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 2, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 1. Amos chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, "I saw the Lord Yahweh standing upon the altar, and he said, Smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered." So you can't escape from the Lord's judgment. You know, the Lord is going to get up with you. It don't matter if you underground. It don't matter if you know, underwater. It don't matter where you are or how much money or whatever you created. You know, you can't escape from the Most High judgment. Verse 2, Amos chapter 9 and verse 2. It says, "Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them." And hell is known for another way of saying grave, you know. So Amos 9 and 2, it says, "Though they dig into hell, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel," you know, which is another way of understanding a cave. You know, it says, "And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them." So even if they go underwater, you know, the Lord has his creation that obeys him. The same way the Lord told that whale to swallow up Jonah, you know. So these men and these elites try to go down somewhere or go somewhere, hey, the Lord can wipe them out immediately. Now we got like it says in Revelation chapter 6. Now it says cave. This is when you read Revelation chapter 6, it says a large underground chamber. So that's the it says, let me see, Spalladion says a large underground cave or a chamber, you know. So let me get this in Sirach real quick. It's the book of Sirach chapter 16. And I'm going to start at verse 17. In the Apocrypha, Ecclesiastes chapter 16 and verse 17, and it reads, "Say not thou, I will hide myself from the Lord. Shall any remember me from above? I shall not be remembered among so many people. For what is my soul among such an infinite number of creatures?" So it ain't no hiding from the Lord. He's going to find you. He's going to get up with you. You know, it doesn't matter if you out of space and you think you can go out of space. It doesn't matter if you in some submarine underground that has all type of technology that can survive a nuclear holocaust, survive a nuclear bomb, whatever you think you got, hey, the Lord, you know, nothing can come against him. You know, he's the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the Almighty. You know, let me get this in Isaiah 24 real quick. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 24, and I'm going to start at verse 16, and it reads, Isaiah 24 and verse 16. I'm going to start at verse 15. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 15. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord God of Israel in the isles of the sea. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yea, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitant of the earth. And it shall come to pass that he who fled from the noise of the fear, because you got a lot of people that going to try to flee. You know, they're thinking, you know, that they're so rich and they can control the entire planet Earth, but hey, they don't realize that the Most High is really in control. So Isaiah 24 and 18 one more time. And it shall come to pass that he who fled from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgressor thereof shall be heavy upon it, and shall fall and not rise again. So, hey, the Most High, he's gonna make sure that your delusions is having you think you can escape and you can hide, but there's no place to run. There's no place to hide. You know, the Most High got you right where you want, right where He wants you to be. You know, let me get this in Joshua 10. You know, because I'm pretty sure, hey, these kings that was reigning, they thought they was gonna escape and get past, hey, the Most High, but hey, the Most High had, you know, had Joshua and the mighty men of Israel set up, you know, to continue to defend and glorify the Most High. Now this is Joshua chapter 10, and I'm gonna start at verse 1, and we're gonna jump down. We're not gonna read this whole thing. Joshua chapter 10 and verse 1, and it reads, Now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done to Jericho and her king. So he had done to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them, that they feared greatly, because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. Wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Horam, king of Hebron, and unto Purim, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhiah, king of Lachish, and unto Derbe, king of Eglon, saying, Come up unto me and help me, that we may smite Gibeon, for it had made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, and the king of Hebron, and the king of Jarmuth, and the king of Lachish, and the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their hosts, and encamped before Gibeon, and made war against it. So you got, this is going to happen on another scale, on another fold. You're going to have many wicked heathens that may try to go against, you know, God's chosen as well, and even go against the Most High. You know, so this is nothing new. So this is I'm gonna go up to verse 13. It's like verse 12, Joshua chapter 10 and verse 12, and it reads, Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel, and he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou, moon, in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Joshua? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of a man. For the Lord Yahweh fought for Israel, and Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp of unto the camp to Gilgal. But these 5 kings fled and hid themselves in a cave at Makkedah. And it was told Joshua, see that? So hiding in the cave or some underground chamber is nothing new. That's what these 5 kings try to do. You know, so Joshua chapter 10 and verse 17. And it was told Joshua, saying, the 5 kings are found hid in a cave at Makkedah. And Joshua said, roll great stones upon the mouth of the cave, and set men by it for to keep them. And stay ye not, but pursue after your enemies, and smite the hindmost of them. Suffer them not to enter into their cities, for the Lord Yahweh your Most High God had delivered them into your hand. And it came to pass, when Joshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a very great slaughter, till they were consumed, that the rest which remained of them entered into fenced cities, and all the people returned to the camp to Joshua at Makkedah in peace. None moved his tongue against any of the children of Israel. Then said Joshua, open the mouth of the cave, and bring out those 5 kings unto me out of the cave. And they did so, and brought forth those 5 kings unto him out of the cave. The king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, and the king of Eglon. And it came to pass, when they brought out those kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of men of war which went with him, come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near and put their feet upon the necks of them. You see that? And so that's what the Lord is going to do. You know, he's going to bring these billionaires and trillionaires out of these underground bunkers in these last days, you know, and even in the waters, you know. Hey, you never know. The Most High may have an angel go down there in the deep of the deepest of the waters, wherever they're gonna be hiding at, and he's gonna have his angels to bring them forth, you know, to build up the kingdom of heaven. So I'm gonna get this in Jeremiah 16. Lord willing, this was edifying to you. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 16, and I'm going to start at verse 16, and it reads, behold, I will send for many fishers, said the Lord Yahweh, and they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. For my eyes are upon all their ways, they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. So the Lord, he's everywhere anybody go, you know, and he sees everything. So there ain't no hiding. So Lord willing, this was edified to you. All praise to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Call Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Continue to stay in the spirit, striving and enduring in these last days, and forsake the flesh and the cares of this world. Free me of Zion, back with another video. Lord willing, it was edifying to you. Call Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. We don't count. This is the right thing to do. Peace and blessings to you. Shalom.